when you hire employees to grow your company, but your customers only want to work with you? That's coming up next on Your Business.
The name
Hi there, everyone. I'm JJ Ramberg, and welcome to Your Business, the show focused on finding answers to all of the issues small business owners face. It's quite common to name your business after yourself. On this show alone, we've spoken to the owner of Parties to Go by Joe, Barbara Corcoran of the Corcoran Group, and the father-daughter team who run the recruiting firm Drum Associates. But what happens when you build a company on the cult of your own personality and then you try to expand?
Everybody, what's my name again? Everyone say good morning, Dan the Man. Good morning, everyone.
When Dan Levy was choosing a name for his new company, he didn't have to think hard.
Dan the Man's gonna see if he can walk on the stilts. Let's see.
People just started knowing me as Dan the Man, and I just took off with that because people knew the name Dan the Man and associated it with me right away.
An ex-gymnast, he founded Dan the Man Super Gym on Wheels, holding fitness classes and birthday parties for kids at schools, homes, and parks.
Reaching, stretching.
I really enjoyed what I do, and I think that people started to really enjoy that their kids were enjoying it.
Levi's reputation quickly grew. Before he knew it, he was getting more calls than he could handle.
I heard about him through word of mouth, through the whole, LA network, and we took a sample class here. My kids fell in love with him. It was love at first sight.
He's funny, he's outgoing, and he's lively, and it makes it fun to come to class.
He did a lot of birthday parties, and just among the moms, his name became very popular.
Did you find that you couldn't grow the way you wanted to as just one person?
I must say, it definitely got to a point where I was full. Got to the point where I could only bring as much equipment, I could only do so much, and I needed to go past that point.
He wanted to open a gym and still be able to keep the mobile fitness center. Problem was, there was only one Dan the Man. And while he was able to hire employees, his company was built on his personality. So when customers called to book a party, they wanted Dan the Man to be there. How often do you get people calling you and saying, I want to have a birthday party with Dan the Man, but I want Dan the Man?
I want Dan the Man. Oh, plenty of people do it. And I must say, over the last 5 or 6 years, I grew really close with a lot of families, and they're on their third child or second child, and I've done all their kids' parties.
Well, everybody here is very good, but I'd rather have Dan host the party.
Debbie Williams hired Dan the Man for her son's birthday party last year. When she was planning this year's festivities, she called him up again. Dan wasn't available, but he told her his employee Dave was.
So I said, who's Dave the Man? And he said, I trained him, he's great, he's just like me. And I said, will he come to my house? And he said, yeah, no, he absolutely will. So, and he said, I promise, he'll be just as good as me. So I said, okay, let's give it a shot.
Bang on the mat, say happy birthday, Jack!
Levi spent countless hours training his staff in the Dan the Man way.
They basically have to follow me and mimic what I do for at least a month or so.
2, 3.
Nice.
That was beautiful.
He taught me a lot of stuff, and also just not necessarily teaching, but he just led by example. And I picked it up, and it's been working out really nicely for me.
Was it scary for you the first time that you sent somebody else to do a Dan the Man party?
Yes, it was. It was definitely scary, but I prepped them, I went over and over with them, I gave them lists.
He's also worked hard to make his customers feel comfortable that even if he's not available, he can still provide them with the Dan the Man experience.
I think the name stands for itself because I know that he wouldn't send someone out who wasn't amazing.
So is Dan the Man now not a person anymore, but a brand?
Yeah, it is. I think so. I think people definitely resemble, the Dan the Man with certain little Dan the Man-isms, like I do these funny little sayings that have been passed down to other assistants and staff, and like the owl song. Ow, 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 this really hurts. Little things like that, or like smelling your feet and everyone's like, oh man, ew, yucky.
While there are still some parents who insist on only working with Dan the Man, his employees like Dave are starting to build a reputation of their own.
He's good. He plays games. I like the tug of war. He's doing red light, green light. He knows like fun stuff to do.
Go back to the shore, go back to the shore.
And that, says Levi, is just what the company needed. So how did it feel the first time somebody called up and said, I want a Dan the Man party, but I want Super Dave to run it?
It was exciting. It didn't bother, like it didn't hurt me. It actually felt awesome. Like, wow, like this is great. Some people are loving my staff, and it's just gonna make everything that much better.
Welcome to the party, this is one of a kind. Like a hot chili pepper, it'll blow your mind.